Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to Pack Pullers. This is Cody, and today we are going to be taking a look at my new favorite card game. We're going to look at some Grand Archive. I got my hands on the I think there's only three. The three starter decks that are out right now, and we're going to kind of be doing a breakdown and not so much a deck profile, but we're going to go through these. We're probably just going to do one per video right now because with this being a new game, one that I'm not super familiar with, I want to take the time to look at the cards, talk about the familiarities with some other card games, and what I like about the game, what I don't like about the game. I'm really excited to get into this. Grand Archive just released their second set, and I had initially kind of like pushed the game off because I wasn't really sure how well it would do. I saw it in Kickstarter, and I was concerned that it was just going to turn into a kind of like a big booby anime card game. Was my initial thought, and that there wouldn't be a whole lot of depth to the gameplay. But from what I've seen on its competitive scene and how this new set, that's kind of a supplementary set, has really shaken up the competitive meta, I'm very, very excited for where this deck is gonna, or where this game is gonna go, and where it's at right now. But today, I think we're gonna start out with the starter deck I'm most excited for, and we're gonna take a look at. We're gonna take a look at Silvie. Silvie is a tamer class, and one thing that I'm also really interested about this is it says it's a water tamer, which means that we start with a Spirit of Water, which is interesting to me because I've only seen wind Silvie decks. But we do have these three here. We've got the Water Tamer Silvie deck. We've got the Fire Mage Rai deck, and then we've got the Wind Warrior Lorraine deck. But we're going to start with Silvie today, and then you guys can let me know down in the comments if you would like to see Lorraine or Rai next. All right, let's get to it. All right. Time to get into it. Part of our excitement is with these new starter decks and kind of everything we got going on. I have a new desk as well. So it used to be that I'd pull this like big table out into my kind of space here and use that to record. But now I have so much deck space. In fact, I'm going to throw up a picture of the new setup. I've got so much desk space now that I can freely do it at my computer desk. So it's great. Like I have a little recording spot, and then I can just turn and do my editing. It's awesome. With that, we've also got some super weeby lights. Let's do the dark blue. Let's do the dark blue. We'll see if that messes with anything. We'll leave the lights on for now. But so let's get into this. Grand Archive. This is the Silvie starter deck. Right off the bat, phenomenal packaging. Let you know what you're getting. So one of the main mechanics of this game is you actually work with two decks as the game goes on. You have your main deck, which is typically 60 cards, and then you have a material deck. And the material deck is where like your health and your heroes and what element you're playing, which is kind of akin to like your color of mana from Magic the Gathering or something like that, and how you can structure your deck comes from. So I believe that the material deck has to be exactly 12 cards consisting of a starting element, a hero, champion, whatever, I think they're champions, and then regalia. So things like these Beastbound Paws, Beastbound Ears, Beastbound Boots, equipment type things that we can play with throughout the game. And those have their own individual costs, just like cards in your main deck goes. But without further to do, let's get right into it. Oh, was there nothing there? Oh, there was something there. It just cut really clean. I don't want to tear up the packaging because I like good packaging. So there is Silvie with the pack. This is actually a level 2 hero. I think we should have a level 1, 2, and 3. If I'm not mistaken. So let's see what we got. Oop. Set that up there. Looks like we come with, let's see, do I like that? I think I like it better without the light off. Because I think the light think the light is causing some weird focusing lighting issues. We're going to leave the light off for now. You guys let me know what you think. So it comes with a quick starter guide. Looks like we have little Silvie emotes for the Discord as well. That's pretty sweet. Set that there. And is there a tab anywhere on here? I don't feel one. All right, let's do this. Let's start by separating out our material deck. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Separate out our material deck from our main deck, and we'll go through the material deck first. So you can tell the difference in material deck cards versus main deck cards by the color of their cost. So yellow cost, main deck, blue cost, material deck. And then champions, I believe, just have a black circle. Champions and spirits just have a black circle. But those will never go in your main deck. So for starters, we have a Spirit of Water. So this is how you start the game. So at the start of the game, you'll have your material deck and your main deck. You'll roll to see who goes first. And if I'm not mistaken, you don't have a choice. If you win the roll, you do go first. And then you will flip over on your first turn. You will flip over before you draw, which is important. Your spirit, your starting element. And then that will tell you on enter, draw 7 cards. So then you draw 7 cards. You'll draw your starting hand and then go from there. And each turn you can, quote, materialize one of these cards from your material deck at the start. And as long as you're paying it the appropriate cost and following the requirements based on the card. So pretty simple stuff. But what's important about the elements is this is your deck building requirements. So with the Spirit of Water, there we go. So this has a water element. So this means that we're allowed to play water cards. So each card has a corresponding element. Every character or champion is always attuned to normal. So there's no requirements for being able to play a normal card. Let's find something with an element on it. There you go. Blue Slime. So Blue Slime has a water requirement. So if we were playing a Spirit of Fire or Spirit of Wind, we wouldn't be able to play these water cards. Vice versa, so on and so forth. So it's a lot like running blue magic and blue mana and magic, your blue, black, red, white, all that good stuff. And so that starts your deck building requirements. And then as you go on, there are more complex elements like Terra and Arcane and Crux, and that will come with your higher level champions. So normal, and then level 3 Silvie is Terra. So that will allow you to play Terra cards, as well as water, because you started with the water. So it's kind of just like a quick little breakdown. And then card anatomy. This is also your health pool. So each player, each element, each character has a health pool. So whenever you're attacked, you're kind of like taking damage counters. Because as you level up your champion, you will have different health values. So here up to 25. So if I take 14 damage while I have the Spirit of Water, I only have 1 health left. But if I were to upgrade to Silvie, then I'd go up to 19 health, so I'd have 5 health to play with, if that makes sense. I hope I'm explaining that well. If I'm not, please let me know, and I'll try and do a better job. But let's get into these cards. So Spirit of Water, we've kind of looked over it. There's no cost to it. This is going to be the first card that you play on enter. So when it enters the battlefield, you're going to draw 7 cards. That'll be your starting hand. And then from there, you'll be able to play cards, assuming that you meet the requirement that they're normal or water. And you have the required cost. So our first champion is Silvie, Wild's Whisperer. So she is a tamer. So that's kind of like the class that she has, just like Warrior and Mage over here with our other starting decks. So on enter, the next animal or beast ally, which is like a minion or a creature. Next animal or beast ally card you activate, which means you played it. This turn enters the battlefield with an additional buff counter on it. Buffs are +1/+1 counters to their health or their attack and toughness. So if it's a 1/1, it becomes a 2/2. Should be familiar terminology for most card game players. Buff counters is interesting to me because I'm kind of like, well, you know, just tell me +1/+1 counters. That's so easy to remember. And then of course she has 19 health. Also, we have the cost up here, so she does require 1 to play her. All right, level 2 hero or champion, Silvie with the pack. Silvie lineage, so you can only play this card if you have if you have the level 1 Silvie out. On enter, if you control an animal ally, draw a card. If you control a beast ally, draw a card. I would imagine that those are 2 separate requirements, so if you control both an animal and a beast, you can draw 2 cards, which is pretty great. On enter, draw 2 cards. We love that. And then the big one, Silvie loved by all. So this gives us the Terra element, which is wonderful. Silvie lineage, same thing, that she must be played on top of a previous Silvie champion. And it says animal and beast allies you control get +1 health and have intercept. So intercept is almost like taunt. I believe that whenever somebody declares an attack, you can pick one of your characters to, quote, intercept that attack. Now we have some regalia. So regalia are kind of like equipment or almost like enchantments in Magic the Gathering that you would place down on the field and they stay. So we have the Beastbound boots. Pardon me, I'm a little under the weather today. The Beastbound boots, so you can banish them. Your champion gains Spell Shroud until end of turn. Activate this ability only if you control an animal or beast ally. Units with Spell Shroud can't be targeted by spells. I would imagine that you could do that on your opponent's turn. So if they're playing like, I don't know if this deck does it or not, but I saw some nasty Rye combo decks, like one turn, you know, OTK combo decks that used Arcane Blast, I think. Did like 11 damage to a champion. So if you see that turn coming in, maybe you pop the boots and give your champion Spell Shroud. The ears, your champion gets +1 level as long as you control an animal or beast ally. Very important in this deck. We're going to see a keyword later called Pride, so that level comes into play. The paws, Beastbound paws, banish them. Target animal or beast ally gets +1 attack and gains True Sight until end of turn. Units with True Sight can attack units with stealth, so that's pretty good. Gets through stealth. Flute of Taming, tap it down. Your champion gets +1 level until end of turn. Tap it down. Target animal or beast ally gets +1 attack or +1 health until end of turn. Life Essence Amulet. Whenever an ally you control dies, while it's not your turn, you may banish it. If you do, draw a card. It's always good. Cycling. Melodious Flute. Your champion gets +1 level as long as you control an animal or beast ally. And then it has a class bonus. What's the class? Tamer instrument. All right. The next harmony action card you activate this turn is a melody in addition to its other types. I don't know what that means. Maybe we'll see it in our main deck. Wind Resonance Bauble. Banish the Wind Resonance Bauble. Draw a card. Activate this only if your opponent controls a wind element champion. So that would do us nothing against the Fire Mage deck, but could be useful against the Wind Warrior deck. So more cycling, more draw a card. And then we have Seed of Nature. Seed of Nature enters the battlefield rested, which means tapped. On enter, your champion gets +2 level until end of turn. Then you can tap it to banish it. Your champion gets +2 level until end of turn. So those levels are going to be really important because of Pride. And we'll talk about that more as we get through the main deck here. Sorry about that. I can't get through this coughing. All right. Our first card, we have Blissful Calling. How many copies? We got 4. We got to play set. We'll see if I do that for every card. Blissful Calling. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. You may reveal an animal or beast card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of any order. So it's a nice little cycle. It is a action, which I think is a spell. Cost 1, and it is slow, so you can only play this on your turn. I think we'll see some fast spells in here too. That we could liken to a slow spell being a sorcery and a fast spell being an instant from Magic the Gathering, which is what I'm going to use most of my comparisons from. And maybe here in a little bit we'll look at how we pay for cost. All right, next up, Empowering Harmony. Your champion gets +2 level till end of turn. Class bonus Harmonize. If you activated a melody card this turn, draw a card. So that's kind of what we were looking at with the flute earlier. We got 2 of those. All right, here we go. Gray Wolf. So 2 cost ally, 2 attack, 2 health, but it has Pride 2. This ally won't obey you unless your champion is level 2 or higher. So that's where those champion levels come into play. It's almost like not having enough badges, you know, in Pokemon. So you will not be able to attack or take an action with a card with Pride if you do not meet the level requirements. However, you can retaliate. So retaliate is if I'm not mistaken, somebody declares an attack on your card, on this ally, and it is not tapped down, you can choose to retaliate and do your damage to the attacking card. So we have 2 of those. Rebellious Bull. Rebellious Bull enters the battlefield rested. It's a 3/4. Has Pride 3. Scry the Skies. Glimpse level. So that is equal to your champion level. Draw a card into your memory. Your memory is like your resource zone down here. Draw a card into your memory. Okay, so first you glimpse. All right, so you glimpse. To glimpse, look at that many cards from the top of your deck. Put those cards back on top or on the bottom of your deck in any order. So you can kind of reorder your deck. And then after you do that, you can draw a card into your memory. And we'll talk a little bit more about what the memory is here in a little bit. Smack with Flute. On attack, your champion gets +1 level until end of turn. This is an attack. It will give our champion 1 attack till the end of turn. Then it has Floating Memory. Floating Memory is a mechanic that I really like about this game. So any cards that have Floating Memory, once they're used and discarded, they kind of sit over in your graveyard, but you can use them later in the game. You can banish them or exile them to pay costs for your cards. So that's really cool. So, you know, I get the attack in now, I get the damage now, I can maybe use it as removal, but I can still use that card as a resource later, and I really, really like that. Okay, so here's our first fast spell, so an instant. Allies you control get +2 health until end of turn. Class bonus, those also get +1 attack till end of turn. So that is a Melody and a Tamer skill. And we got 3 of those. That's really nice. Trusty Steed, on enter, target ally gets +2 attack until end of turn. A 1/3 for 4. Blue Slime, Pride 4. So we have to have level 4 or higher. Whenever Blue Slime is dealt damage, put a buff counter on it. So it gets +1/+1 every time it deals damage. But that's a class bonus. So you have to be a Tamer, right? Tamer, water element, costs 3. We got a place of those. Deep Sea Beast Bonder. Your champion gets +1 level as long as you control an animal, beast, or beast ally. Nice 1/4, big body. Giving us level. If we have 4 of these out, we get, you know, +4 level. That's huge. Oh, that's so cute. Dewdrop Hairs. 1/3. Looks just like an early game card. 1/3, soak up some damage, use it later as a resource with Floating Memory. Freezing Hail, deal 2 damage to target unit. The unit does not wake up during its controller's next wake up phase. So you can keep something tapped down. It's a fast spell. Ooh, Giant Tortoise, big boy, 1/6. Nothing else to it, it's just a 1/6. But you buff its attack, it could be pretty dangerous, I would guess. Give Bath, remove all temporary damage from target allies. So that makes me wonder, is this, is damage to allies, damage to creatures permanent? Or is it like Magic where it resets at the end of the turn? Like you have to deal all the damage to a creature. Like you'd have to deal 5 damage to this in a turn to kill it. I'll have to look that up. Anyway, Lakeside Serpent, Pride 6, 3/5. Lakeside Serpent gets +1 attack for each water element card in... That's huge. Each water element card in your graveyard. Oh my god, this thing could be thick. +1 attack for each. Mist Resonance. Allies you control get +1 health until end of turn. Harmonize. If you activated a Melody card this turn, allies you control assign damage with their life stat instead of their power... Oh, wow. So that would be really good for our turtles. Our 1/6. Now they're dealing 6 damage instead of 1 damage. Actually, it would be 7 because they got +1 health. Oh, only one of? Dang. Bummer. Piper's Lullaby. If you control an animal or beast ally, your champion gets +1 level until end of turn. Rest up to 1 target ally. Why would you want to do that? Apply this effect only for champion class. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to tap something down? Maybe I just don't know the intricacies of the game yet. Because I haven't played it. This is the first time I've messed with the cards. I've just watched some gameplay, so maybe I'm just not understanding that one properly. Revitalizing Cleanse. Reveal all cards in your memory. Recover X, where X is the amount of water element cards revealed this way. Draw a card. So we flip over everything in our memory, show it to our opponent, and for every water card in there, we will get 1 life. Got 3 of those. Okay, here's some Terra cards. So we can only play these when we have the level 3 Silvie out. Gaia's Songbird. On enter, reveal cards from the top of your deck until you reveal a beast or ally card. I'm sorry, no, a beast ally card. Put that card into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Okay, so you're guaranteed a card. You just don't know what you're going to get rid of. Invoke Dominance. Preserve. Put this card into your material deck, preserved as it resolves. As you materialize, you may instead return a preserved card to your hand. Oh, okay, interesting. Your champion gets +3 level until end of turn. You can't activate non-ally cards this turn. Wow. So we can play those twice. So we play it, it resolves, it goes into our material deck, and then later in the game we can pull it out of our material deck and put it into our hand. Meadow Bloom Dryad. Preserve, same thing. Class bonus. When Meadow Bloom Dryad or another ally enters the battlefield under your control, put a buff counter on target ally. Wow. Wow, so you can really pop off on turns that you have this. If you play a bunch of low-cost stuff and you start putting buff counters on everything, that's huge. And we have 3 of them. Terracite, 0 cost, draw a card. That's pretty good. We like to cycle cards. And it's not just a 1-for-1 cycle because you get the preserve, so you can get it later. And then we have 1 of Virtus Gaia's Roar. Pride 10, an 8/6 ally. On enter, allies you control get +1 for each animal or beast card, animal and or beast ally card in your graveyard until end of turn. So that's your finisher. That's your win condition right there. Get a bunch of guys out, hopefully get some buff counters, and then drop this and buff everybody up. So now that we've seen the deck, now that we've seen what it looks like, some of the costs, some of the elements, all that good stuff, what does it look like when a game starts? Oh. So when a game starts, we put down our Spirit of Water, right? And then we draw 7. So, and this hand's going to look weird because, you know, we just open the deck. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have our 7 cards, and you guys may or not have noticed that there's no resource in the deck, right? We have all these cards with all this cost, but nothing that tells us that it generates a resource. And this is my favorite thing. This is why I love Flesh and Blood so much. This is why I kind of like Cryptic a lot. I love the system of cards as a resource. That is such a great perspective to me. Because anybody that's played Magic the Gathering knows what it feels like to draw a 7-card hand with no lands or a 7-card hand with 7 lands. And it's so frustrating, and you feel like you lose to luck of the draw. So cards as a resource is a really great system to me. So that's what Grand Archive does. So everything has a cost. So what we're going to do, if I want to play my Gray Wolf, I got to pay 2. So I'm going to play my Gray Wolf, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 cards from my hand, and I'm going to put them face down in my memory zone. And our area is kind of not super big right now. So I'm going to put those cards face down in my memory zone. See if I want to play anything else. Maybe I want to play a Blissful Calling. So I'll pay another 1, and then I can look at the top 5 cards in my deck. 2, 3, 4, 5. I can take a Beast Ally, place it into my hand. Actually, you know what? This wouldn't really work in a real game. I can take that gray wolf. I can place it in my hand. I can put these back in any order. Blissful Calling goes into my graveyard. Pick my hand back up. Okay, well, now I have another wolf. So I'm going to play another 2 and play another wolf. So now I have no cards in hand. 5 cards in my memory. If I'm not mistaken, cards do not have summoning sickness in this game. So assuming that I met the level requirements for these 2, the Pride 2, I could go ahead and attack. But that's not the case. So I would pass my turn. I have no cards in hand. I have 5 cards in my memory. My next turn starts with a materialize phase. So I would decide what I want to do. Maybe I want to bring out the Wind Resonance Bauble. Maybe I'm playing against Lorraine, a Wind Lorraine deck. So I'm going to put that there. I'm going to draw my card for turn, and then I'm going to remember or recall. So all the cards that were in my material, I'm going to pick back up, and now they're back in my hand. And then I'm going to say, okay, I got a Rebellious Bull this draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to pay 5. I'm going to play the Bull. And that's kind of the back and forth. Now, what is important is if I go to, let's say, play Silvie. So she has this blue cost. So I have no cards in hand. I haven't started my turn yet. The materialize phase starts. I want to play her. What I have to do to pay that 1 cost is I have to take one of the cards from my memory. Has to be in the memory. And I don't know if I banish it or if I discard it, but I got to get rid of it. That's the important part, is I got to get rid of it to pay that cost. But then I would draw my card, pick up my hand, and do my shenanigans again. But the cards as a resource system is just one of my favorite things. And I feel like it's just so flexible, and it's really good for the game itself, because it takes away just getting screwed by the draw. And card games like Shadowverse and everything like that, or Digimon, where there is just a maximum resource, and every turn you gain 1 to that, and maybe they do have a way to ramp or things like that, are great. Those are fine too. But I really love the flexibility and the decision making that comes in with cards as a resource. But guys, this has been our first look at Grand Archive. I'm really excited. I'm excited to play this game. My buddy Sam, shout out to Sam because I know he's going to watch this. It's coming to town soon, and we are going to play. We're going to play Grand Archive. We're going to play all sorts of stuff. But be sure to leave a comment down below and let me know which one you want to see next. Do you want to see the Fire Mage deck, or do you want to see the Wind Warrior deck? Personally, I think the Water Animal deck is going to be my favorite. I like creature-based decks, which again, this feels like a very much green mana deck to me. And all the Silvie games I've seen have seen her with wind starting elements. And that's another thing I really like about this game is the option to, well, I want to play this champion, but I have the deck building autonomy to say, okay, well, I'm going to start it with wind, or I'm going to start it with fire. Maybe I want a more aggressive, Silvie deck before I get to my big creatures with Terra and all that. Or I want the blue, more control-y type. Just the myriad of options that you have when it comes to deck building is really great. I'm super excited for this game. I'm going to be picking up some boxes soon. Unfortunately, none of my local stores have any boxes or organized play set up, but I know Tabletop Simulator has it, and I'm just looking to get into this game. Let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know what you want to see next. Thank you for coming and hanging out, and you guys have a great day. Bye.